Hi, everybody. This is Mrs. Rowe, and I am channeling Mrs. Powers right now and going to make a screencast on formatting academic assignments. So, we're going to talk about some Google document basic tips, some things that we should know how to do by now in seventh grade with our essays and our documents that we create. So, we're just going to look at some very, very basic things. So, I have a document that I've created that doesn't have anything on it yet. But when you open up a document, it usually is kind of like this. It looks like this page right here where you have your cursor blinking here and it's in about an inch. You can look up here at the ruler and you'll see that it's an inch in. It is an inch here, and also it starts an inch down, and if you went down to the bottom and you went to stop, it would probably have an inch up here. And those are margins, and we keep our margins at about an inch. Sometimes it's necessary to change those margins, and if we ever need to, we go up here to where it says File, and we go to Page Setup. So once you click on Page Setup, you go here and it says top, bottom, left, and right for margins, and you can change it to a half an inch by going 0.5. No, this is math skills. See how we're using math in here? So we'd use a 0.5. If we wanted it all around, we'd go like that. Or you could go 0.75 if you want 3/4 of an inch. You can also change the orientations from portrait, which is the up and down, is that hamburger, to landscape, which is hot dog. So it has the longer top and bottom and the shorter sides. Well, in this case, we do want, for our academic assignment that we're going to be working on in 7th grade ELA, we want 1-inch margins and we want it to be portrait. So I'm going to leave it there. So that's one of the things that you should know how to do, is to format. So again, you go File and Page Setup. And that's where you'll find the margins and the orientation. Okay, so then another thing that you might want to know how to do is how to indent or tab at the start of each paragraph. So you know that when you have a paragraph, the first line is indented in. And I've seen a lot of students indent by using space bar, the long space bar, and we shouldn't do that because that kind of messes up stuff. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to open my document, and I have this paragraph here. And in this paragraph, it's kind of got all these issues. There is all these different colors. There's some spelling errors, and it's, I don't know, really large. We're going to change some things here. So one of the things that I said we want to be able to do is to indent. So when you're at the beginning of a paragraph, so you come here and you put your cursor at the beginning of a paragraph, all you need to do is go down to your keyboard and click on the Tab key. So then it indents automatically. But let's say I wanted to do it down here. Maybe I wanted to start my paragraph here, where many students experience. And you're going to want to hit the return key, and then look at it, automatically indents. It's amazing. So once you've indented one, you can just hit return and it'll automatically indent again. You only need one tab for each paragraph. You don't need to go happy and go all the way in. You just need to have one tab in there. So again, I just need to hit the tab key to cause that to happen. A lot of students ask me how to double space their essay. I usually pre-format your essays so they automatically go to double space, but sometimes that gets messed up and then kids don't know how to change it. So one of the things that I'm going to show you how to do right now is to double space your essay. So here we have our paragraph, and this one is not double spaced. So if I come down here to this bottom of the essay and then I highlight the whole thing, then I can just go up to this arrow that points up and down with the 3 lines next to it. And when I hover over it, it says line spacing. If I click on it, there's single, 1.15, 1.5, and double. So we definitely want to double space our lines. So I'm going to click on double, and there. Now you think that's kind of big. So we want to also change the font. So this font size is set at 20, and that's a little big. So we're going to change the font size by coming over here, clicking on this, and in an essay, an academic essay, we want to try to keep it around 11 or 12. So we can change it to 12, and it's small again. Works for me. We also have to be careful with our font because sometimes students love to get those fun fonts out like this one. This is fun. But it's also very hard for your teachers to read, and it could mean if we're struggling reading your paper, obviously you're not going to get a good grade. Don't think that that means it's going to be a good grade. So then we'd want to come in here and we'd want to find a font that is easy to read. And fonts like Arial and Times New Roman, those are easy to read fonts. So if I click on one of those, you can see that it's pretty clear. It just has normal print. Another thing is the color. So when you have academic writing and the color is fun, it's got all these new things, it's still kind of hard to read. So we also want to go through and highlight it. Go up here to text color, hover on the A, click on it, and we're going to select black because academic papers should be in black. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is to add, or actually how to spell or check your spelling on here, because you have this wonderful tool where you can check your spelling, and you should use it because I didn't have that when I was a kid. I had to crack open the dictionary and look up my words. So you have this up in your toolbar, you have this tab called Tools, and you're going to click on the Tools, and right at the top there is spelling, and it does exactly what you want it to do. So it's going to go through and pick out words that it doesn't think are spelled correctly, like this first word. Now don't just go through and just change it and click on the first thing that it suggests, because it might give you the wrong one. So you have to read and see what you meant. So it says here, having to schoolwork. So balance makes sense there. That's what it is, and I'm going to change it. Oh, all right. So then I'm going to go down here again and read my high school experience that caused an increased amount of stress for me. Increased. I think that's what that means. So I'm going to click on increased and change it. Many students experience, oh, that's spelt wrong. And I'm going to look up here. Student. Had the announcement go on there. So I see the experience, and I'm going to change it. And management, I'm going to click on the word that I want and hit change. And I still am responsible to go through, because sometimes you can maybe have something like this. Instead of these students, it says the students. And although that makes sense, you might not have meant that word choice, and you want to make sure that you have the right word choices. So check your spelling, and then read through and check your spelling again. All right, sometimes when we go into a document, the teacher will have put up at the top the information they want you to include, and sometimes that information is deleted or forgotten about, and just want to get you in the habit of knowing how to create your own header for your document. So if you're in your document and here you are and you've written and you're thinking, oh no, I didn't put my name in, an easy way to add your name and the assignment and the date and all that information to the document is to go up here to where it says Insert. And so you'll click on Insert, and then you go down and it has this header. So we're going to click on Header, and this is a good place for you to add your name and the date and your teacher's name. And you would also want to include the assignment, the name of the assignment. So in this case, we're going to just call this formatting, because that's all I'm doing here. And then you click out of it, and then you have that information up at the top. Another thing is sometimes we want to include a title. And to do that, you would go up to where you would want your title to be. And rather than spacing or hitting tab to get over to the middle there, We really want it nice and centered. So we will just have it here, and then we're going to go up to the bar, and you have this center alignment. So that's going to make it so that part of your document is centered. So you're going to click on that, and then it comes here, and then you can type in whatever your title is. Now for your essay, do not center it, because then it gets this goofy little mishmash of lines, and it's not easy to follow, and we can't tell when you're tabbing, when your paragraphs are ending. We want to leave it with the left alignment. So leave your paragraphs over on left align, and most documents will open with left alignment. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to make a bullet list. Let's say that I wanted to make a bullet list of this, and I wanted to put all the things that I do in school. So maybe I am in Star Wars, no, sci-fi, science fiction, and fantasy club, which is really awesome, and bullet journaling. And maybe I'm also a web leader. Okay, maybe I'm in all these activities and I want to make a bullet list. Well, first of all, I maybe don't want my bullet list to be double spaced, so I might highlight them, and then remember, I'll go up to this up and down arrow up here, click on it, and I'll change it back to single. Oh, but I do want to do that. Okay, and again, I'm going to highlight the 3 things that I want bulleted, and then you have this tool right here that says bulleted list. You can click on it and it automatically bullets it. And that's just a nice skill to have, or a tool to have, so that when you want to make a list of things, you can just click on that and you don't have to go through and enter all the spacing, and it aligns it nice and even. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to insert a web link. This is something that you might want to do when you start doing your works cited or bibliography pages. You might want to have in a website that you want to have included. And so what you would do is you would highlight whatever word you would want the link to click on, and then you have either this insert link here, or you can go up to insert and click on the link here. Sometimes if your page is smaller, it won't show this, so you can go either place. So you click on it, and you should have already copied. You can go and copy a link. So if I was going to go here, and I'd highlight this and click on copy, or do the Control C, and then I would go back to my page and I would do the Control V to paste it in. And then hit apply, and now when you click on that, the link comes up and you can click and go there. So that's all I have to show you for formatting. This is just very basic information and tips on how to write your essays, your academic papers, and just to kind of keep you in the know.